Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Unsolved Tales of Netaji Mystery. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a chief minister. Now we all know that chief ministers are powerful people. They are in charge of the administration of a whole state. They are supposed to know what is going on in every corner of the state. Particularly, if they combine their portfolio with that of a home minister, they get all the reports from the police, from the state intelligence department, regarding any law and order situation in the state which is critical and which goes on for a long period of time. The name of the chief minister whose story I'm going to tell you today is Prafulla Chandra Sen. Now Prafulla Chandra Sen was not an ordinary man. He was a staunch Gandhian. So much so that he was known as the Gandhi of Arambagh. Arambagh is the place from where he was elected. It's in Hooghly district of West Bengal. And with that reputation, one should comfortably assume that he would be all in favor of truth, forget non-violence, but truth and disclosure. Gandhiji hated secrecy, so it should be assumed that any staunch follower of Gandhiji, particularly who has earned the epithet of Gandhi of Arambagh, he should not be fond of secrecy in any manner. This story is important from two aspects. Firstly, it demonstrates the attitude of the Bengali elite towards Netaji and his disappearance mystery. And secondly, it demonstrates just how much care was taken to maintain the secrecy, to maintain the cover-up, and not to divulge anything related to the Netaji mystery. Before I go on to the main story, here's a reminder for those who would like to support the work that I'm doing. It depends a lot on the support that you provide. It's critically important, and those who want to support, you can do so by scanning the QR code which you can see on your screen, or by direct bank transfer which is given in the description of this video. And do try to take a membership of the channel also. That would also help. But whatever mode you choose, please remember that your support is what keeps the work going. Now coming back to the story. Prafulla Chandra Sen was West Bengal's chief minister from 1962 to 1967. He became chief minister after the sudden death of Dr. Bidhan Chandra Rai on 1st of July 1962. Now 1962 is a year which is remembered for the Indo-China War. But apart from the Indo-China War, from the Netaji mystery point of view, 1962 was a very important year because that was the year when this case exploded in Bengal, the Sholmari Sadhu case. Sholmari, most of you know by now, was a small township in North Bengal, and around 1962 began a hue and cry in Bengal due to the claim by some former associates of Subhash Chandra Bose that he had come back to India and was living as a sadhu, in the garb of a sadhu, in an ashram in Sholmari. Obviously, there was a huge popular uproar regarding the identity of this sadhu. People wanted to know who he was. For those who follow Bengali, there are two videos in this channel on this particular case. You can get the details there. I had wanted to make these videos in English and Hindi also, but frankly didn't have the time or the bandwidth to make it. Maybe I will do it some other day. But when this thing erupted, the chief minister was Dr. B.C. Roy. But Dr. B.C. Roy passed away in July and Prafulla Sen took over as chief minister. Now when the G.D. Khosla Commission started its investigation from 1970, Prafulla Sen was summoned as a witness. Sen was a chief minister from 1962 to 1967. And he was summoned as a witness in September 1972, just about 5 years after he had relinquished the post of the chief minister. At that time, he was 76 years old. I'm mentioning the age because although obviously he was old at the time, but not that old where he would become senile or won't be able to remember things, recollect his years as the chief minister. Sen was a minister from 1948 in the West Bengal cabinet. So he was well acquainted with whatever was going on in the administration, how things were handled. And after he became chief minister, he also took over the portfolio of the home minister. So he was very well tuned into what was going on within the state. So there is no reason why he should not know anything about the Sholmari Sadhu case. But when he appeared in front of the commission, he suffered a complete lapse of memory. To the specific pointed questions which he was asked, he was vague, he was evasive, and claimed that he had forgotten everything. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm putting up on the screen so that you can see the transcript of his deposition. His exact words were, "When I was the chief minister during 1963, 64 and 65, I have forgotten everything." How very convenient, isn't it? It is important to keep in mind that Prafulla Sen was elder to Subhash Bose by a few months. And he had joined Indian politics, the freedom movement, at the same time that Subhash Bose did. That was during the 1921 non-cooperation movement. And obviously he knew Subhash Bose quite well personally. So it is not wrong to expect that he would be interested more than any other ordinary individual to know about what happened to Netaji. Especially when there was such a big controversy, when there was such a big hue and cry regarding the Sholmari case when he was the chief minister. But look at his answer. He was asked pointedly whether he made any inquiry or not. And his answer was, "I had no occasion to make an inquiry, but friends came and told me that the sadhu was not Netaji." This is a former chief minister speaking, not any Tom, Dick and Harry. So even when he was the chief minister and there was such a big controversy, he did not think it was important, that's what he claimed, to make an inquiry to find out who this sadhu was around whom there was such a big controversy. He was satisfied that some friends came and told him that the man was not Netaji. He was specifically asked again that did he ever make a statement on the floor of the Legislative Assembly that the government had made inquiries and had found out that the sadhu was not Netaji. Prafulla Sen said that he didn't remember making any such statement. What he remembered saying was that he was told by some friends and hence there was no point in any further inquiry. He admitted that as the chief minister he used to get weekly intelligence summaries from the intelligence department, but he couldn't remember whether any of those reports referred to the Sholmari case. Obviously this line of answering seemed quite unusual and unnatural to those who were present and questioning the lawyers in the commission. So they asked him, "Did you not find it necessary as the chief minister and home minister to make inquiries?" He repeated the same answer, that no, there were so many friends who had visited Sholmari and had met the sadhu and they came and told me that he was not Netaji. He said that the general belief was that he was not Netaji. So it was not a matter of inquiry. And so we did not pursue it. Now one of the lawyers asked a more specific question. He named the Inspector General of Police at that time when Sen was the chief minister, and he cited a specific government order asking the IG to make an inquiry. Prafulla Sen again played the act of forgetting everything. He said, "I don't remember. I don't think he ever submitted a report." Now the friends who Sen was referring to, who briefed him that the Sholmari sadhu was not Netaji, were Nihalendu Dutt Mazumdar, a former minister in the BC Roy government, the BC Roy cabinet, and Surendra Mohan Ghosh, the former chief of Bengal Provincial Congress. Sen claimed that he had forgotten everything. But when the lawyers started asking specific questions about how he was briefed by these friends, it came out that Sen remembered everything that they had told him. That the sadhu did not physically look like Subhash Bose, that he was not bald, that he had hair on his chest, that his dialect, the Bengali dialect in which he spoke, was very different from what Subhash used to speak. So all these details, minute details, Sen remembered and he recounted these. The only thing that he had forgotten was what he as chief minister was doing. Facing a barrage of questions, at one point Sen cracked up and he said, okay, when there was a lot of talk going on and there was a hue and cry, meetings were happening, I think there was some inquiry made, and when evidence was obtained that he was not Netaji, we let the matter rest. Naturally he was asked, who made the inquiry? And his answer was again forgetful. I don't know who made the inquiries, he said. Maybe the local police or the Thana people, they did something. But when he was pressed further with this specific question, that whether the state intelligence conducted any inquiry, he slipped a little more. The only inquiry that the state government made, Sen told the commission, was through the local police, maybe the superintendent of police, or maybe the SDPO, or the inspector of police. But Sen was very categorical that it was not a matter that was gone into deeply. Not only the Sholmari incident, Sen had no recollection about a long discussion and frequent discussion that he had with journalist Barun Sengupta. Barun Sengupta wrote in his articles that he had discussed at length and number of times the Netaji Mystery case, particularly the Sholmari issue, and also the claims made by the Naga leader Fizo, the Naga rebel leader Fizo, who had said that Netaji was alive. Barun Sengupta also wrote that he had held a joint discussion with Prafulla Sen, the Chief Minister of Bengal, and BP Chaliha, the Chief Minister of Assam, on this particular matter. But Sen had decided his line of answering. He couldn't remember anything. He had the standard political leader answer. Oh, so many people, so many journalists come and talk to us. How can we remember? We don't remember. Now, he was feigning ignorance and forgetfulness about this entire Sholmari episode. But there was another incident which had taken place other than Sholmari in Bengal around 1965 in a place called Kalyani. It was announced by some people that Netaji would make an appearance in Kalyani. And hundreds and thousands of people rushed there. There was a stampede and many people died. Sen was asked whether the state government made any inquiry, to which he replied that we knew that it was not Netaji. We'd have definitely made an inquiry if there was a chance that Netaji would appear there. Which, in other words, to put it in another way, means that the government does make inquiries only when they are seriously concerned about the issue. Now, as we know now, when files have been declassified, that there was non-stop serious level of investigation at all levels of the police administration and the intelligence departments within the state, in coordination with the central government, in coordination with the Home Department of the state government, the Intelligence Bureau, and other states. And this continued till 1978. Obviously, this covers the entire 5 years when Sen was Chief Minister. Because whatever inquiries were being made by the local police, by the district intelligence, reports were regularly sent to the government headquarters at that time, the Writers' Building. The Home Secretary and other high-level secretaries and police officers were kept informed. The files that are now available show that there was a massive amount of communication through all these years, regular communication, regular investigation. Even the minutest, the smallest developments were being reported, people were being investigated, their backgrounds were being checked, who was coming to Sholmari, what was going on, what were they saying, where the sadhu of Sholmari, Swami Saradanand, was traveling, to which state he was going. The letters were being intercepted and read. The thing is that Prafulla Chandra Sen was well aware of all these things, yet he acted as if he had no memory of all these things. He had no knowledge of all these things. What should we make of this? The simplest, straightforward way for a Gandhian who should say nothing but the truth was to inform the commission. There was no harm. That the state government was routinely investigating the Sholmari ashram, the sadhu of Sholmari. There was an intense network of surveillance, not only near the ashram, but at all places that the sadhu was traveling, on the people around him, and that the state government had established the identity of the Sholmari sadhu. That would have been the simplest way, the most straightforward way. The big question is, why did a Gandhian Chief Minister, Prafulla Chandra Sen, work so hard to suppress all this information? And Sen is just one example. We have many other examples of important and powerful people who have suppressed information, who have refused to speak out. The question is, why? That's the big question that I'm leaving with you. Think about it. And that's precisely the reason why I am doing this series. Because we know the big story. We know about the commissions, the mota story of commissions. But in that compressed narrative, these minute stories get lost. These are important stories which everybody should know because they tell us a lot of things. They tell us, most importantly, how big, how extensive the cover-up was. That's all for today. I'll come back very soon with more episodes, with more stories like this. There are plenty of stories, many stories like this, fascinating stories, which will open new avenues of thought when you think about them carefully. Again, reminding you of the need for your support. So do come forward, because your support is what keeps me going. Thank you and Jai Hind.